Hey there. Ever get duped by like a glowing online review that turned out to be faker than a $3 bill?
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, you're not alone. Today's deep dive is all about those too good to be true testimonials and the FTC's long-awaited crackdown on them.
It's about time, right? We've got a whole stack of articles here detailing the FTC's new rule. It's a pretty big deal.
Okay, so let's unpack this FTC rule change. One article compares the FTC to the cowardly lion finally finding its courage after years of basically ignoring this issue. What's behind this sudden burst of bravery?
Well, it seems the FTC is finally acknowledging what many of us have suspected for years. Fake reviews aren't just an annoyance, they're a threat to fair competition and consumer trust. This new rule isn't just a slap on the wrist, it's a shot across the bow for businesses trying to game the system.
So it's more than just businesses writing their own five-star review.
Oh, absolutely. This gets into some pretty deep territory. We're talking about buying reviews, using AI to generate them, even using legal threats to silence people who leave genuine negative reviews.
Whoa, legal threats to bury bad reviews.
Yeah.
That's next level shady. Give us the rundown. What exactly is banned under this new rule?
Well, the FTC is drawing a line in the sand. First off, no more reviews or testimonials from people who don't actually exist.
Right.
We've all seen those suspiciously vague profiles praising products they've clearly never used.
Right. And I'm guessing that includes AI-generated reviews, too. Those are getting scarily sophisticated these days.
Absolutely. The FTC is calling out AI-generated reviews as inherently deceptive. And it goes even further. They're also prohibiting reviews from people who haven't actually used the product or service. No more paying your nephew to rave about your plumbing services if he's never seen your plunger.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's all about making sure the reviews are based on real experiences. But what about those reviews that bend the truth or conveniently omit important details?
You're thinking like an FTC investigator already. The rule tackles that too. It prohibits reviews that misrepresent someone's experience. No more sugarcoating or conveniently leaving out the disastrous parts.
So it's not just about fake people, it's about fake experiences, too. Things are getting really interesting. I have a feeling this rule is going to ruffle some feathers in the business world.
Oh, you said it. Especially for companies that have built their reputations on a foundation of five-star fabrications. The FTC is coming for them directly. They're making it crystal clear that buying reviews, soliciting them from employees, or spreading fake reviews is a big no-no. And they're even saying businesses can't use threats or intimidation to manipulate reviews. It's a serious crackdown on those trying to game the system.
This feels like a watershed moment. I mean, I almost feel a twinge of sympathy for those businesses that have been relying on these tactics.
Yeah.
Almost. But on the other hand, doesn't this level the playing field for businesses that have been playing by the rules all along?
It's about time, right? Think about those businesses who've been playing it straight, pouring their hearts into their products and services only to be drowned out by a chorus of bogus five-star reviews for their competitors. This rule is a win for them.
It's like the Wild West of online reviews is finally getting some sheriffs in town.
Exactly. And it's not just about protecting businesses. Think about the consumers who've been burned by fake reviews. This is about empowering them too.
It's true, we've all been there. You order that trendy kitchen gadget with thousands of rave reviews, and it turns out to be a cheaply made piece of junk. Speaking of which, how are we supposed to spot these fake reviews in a sea of seemingly glowing testimonials?
Well, one marketing expert quoted in our sources suggests looking for the telltale signs of inauthenticity. Overly enthusiastic language, like tons of exclamation points and generic phrases like best ever, can be a red flag.
Okay, that makes sense. But it can't be that simple, right? The fakers are probably getting more sophisticated with their tactics.
Right, you are. But there are other clues. Look for inconsistencies in the details, like a reviewer mentioning features the product doesn't actually have. And pay attention to the timing of reviews. A sudden influx of positive reviews, especially for a new product, could be a sign of something fishy.
So basically, we need to approach these reviews with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. Don't just take the star rating at face value. Dig a little deeper, read between the lines, and consider the source.
And if something seems off, maybe check out the negative reviews too. I've heard those are more likely to be genuine.
That's a common assumption, and there's some logic to it. People are less likely to go through the effort of faking a negative review, especially if they aren't being paid to do so.
That makes sense. But isn't there a risk of getting bogged down in negativity?
Yeah.
We don't want to miss out on genuinely great products because we're too focused on the negative reviews.
It's about finding a balance. Read a mix of positive and negative reviews and try to get a sense of the overall consensus. And remember, critical thinking is key here. Question everything, even those glowing five-star reviews.
This feels particularly relevant now with AI becoming more sophisticated. I mean, how long until even those subtle clues become harder to spot?
That's the million-dollar question. This new FTC rule might be a good first step, but it feels like we're entering a whole new frontier of online deception.
You're right. It's almost like a game of whack-a-mole. As soon as one fake review is taken down, another one pops up. This makes you wonder about the platforms themselves. I mean, what responsibility do they have in all of this?
That's a great point. They have a big role to play. We came across an interesting case study in our research comparing Yelp and Google. It turns out Yelp's average rating across its platform is consistently lower than Google's.
Really? Is that because Yelp's users are just a bunch of grumps?
Not necessarily. Some speculate it's because Yelp has historically been more aggressive in removing suspicious reviews. They've invested heavily in algorithms and human moderators to weed out the fakers.
So maybe Yelp's lower average rating is actually a good sign. It suggests they're taking this issue seriously. What about other platforms, though? Are they doing enough to protect users from being duped by fake reviews?
Well, it seems the FTC is sending a clear message with this new rule. Step up your game or face the consequences.
This FTC rule could be a real game changer, not just for businesses, but for the platforms hosting those reviews. It makes you wonder, though, is a truly trustworthy review system even possible?
It's a question worth asking. Is a perfect foolproof review system even achievable, especially in the age of AI and influencer marketing? It's a tall order.
Right. I mean, think about it. Even if we could weed out all the fake reviews, there's still the issue of subjective experiences. What one person loves, another might hate.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about the influence of personal biases, cultural differences, even just having a bad day. All of these factors can color our perceptions and influence how we rate things online.
It's almost like trying to define good or bad in a universal sense. It's subjective. But even if a perfect system is impossible, we can still strive to make things better, right? What can listeners do to navigate this landscape more effectively?
The key takeaway here is simple. Be an informed and discerning consumer. Don't just take those star ratings at face value. Do your research, read multiple reviews, and look for those telltale signs we discussed earlier.
And what about that Babbel case mentioned in one of our sources? They called it a billion-dollar language app fraud, alleging fake reviews and misleading marketing practices. Without taking sides, it sounds like a potential example of what this new FTC rule is trying to address.
It's definitely a case worth following. Depending on the outcome, it could set a precedent for how the FTC applies this new rule and what it means for other companies in similar situations.
It sounds like things are about to get very interesting in the world of online reviews. It's like we're at a tipping point.
I agree. This new FTC rule is just the beginning. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out and what impact it has on businesses, platforms, and most importantly, consumers.
It's a good reminder that we're all part of this ecosystem. We as consumers have a role to play in demanding transparency and holding companies accountable.
Exactly. Our collective vigilance can help shape a more trustworthy online world. So the next time you're about to make a purchase based on those glowing online reviews, take a breath, remember what we've discussed today, and trust your instincts.
Great advice. This has been a fascinating deep dive into the often murky world of online reviews. We've explored the FTC's new rule, the challenges of spotting fake reviews, the role of online platforms, and the importance of critical thinking in the digital age. But here's a final thought to ponder. If you could design the ideal online review system, what would it look like? Let us know your ideas. We'd love to hear them. Until next time, stay curious.